Hello, hello.
All right. I think we're good.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to get the meetings to start for the Community Development Advisory Committee and Master Plan Committee. I'd like to also say that some remarks. The meeting is being recorded and broadcast via our local cable access channel, WCAT, Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. I'd like to start the meeting. Jim Ferrara is going to give us an update of what's going on. He got a lot of great information, and the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jim Ferrara, for the record. I'm the town administrator, and I just wanted to give the board an update on some of the grants that I am administering on behalf of the town. Right now, we are in full swing with 2 grants in particular that are being executed right now. Is the Green Communities Grant for weatherization within the Shepherd Building. We have Air Barrier Solutions here, who is the vendor, who is doing all of the weatherization strips throughout the building here at the Shepherd Center. We're anticipating them finishing this building hopefully by the end of this week. If not, they will dump into next week. And once they do finish this building, they will be headed down to the senior center to do weatherization and some insulation install. And that will then wrap up the weatherization aspect of that part of the grant. The other half of the grant is for the installation of new heat pumps, a new HVAC unit down at the senior center. And so that is anticipated to start right around April 14th. So we are going to be having a meeting with the senior center director. There will be a couple days with the weatherization project and with the heat pump project that there may be some inconveniences, as well as a possible closure for the day, at least one day during one of those installs. So we ask that you hang tight and be resilient, because we will have these projects wrapped up relatively soon. And we're really excited about the heat pumps, the installation there. The HVAC unit that's currently there is 20 plus years old. It's only at 70% efficiency. And so with this new heating system, we're hopeful that we're not only going to have a more energy efficient system, but we also are going to save some money. And so that installation will be happening sometime around April 14th. And there will be a crane brought in to carry out the old unit and put in the new unit as well.
Cool. That's great.
So that will be taking place down at the senior center. Also down at the senior center, I had worked with Representative Todd Smola, a great rep for our town, and he secured a earmark, a legislative earmark, which is very tough to do. Those things do not come easy. And he was able to secure it for a new roof at the senior center. I immediately went out to bid once we got the earmark. Bids just came back in yesterday, and it appears as though that we're going to have some very competitive bids and low bids, more than anticipated. So we're going to be able to save some money on that project. So we, as you may recall, we have the $50,000 earmark, and we also had reserved $25,000 from the town at a town meeting. That $25,000 from the town, I'm comfortable to say that we'll be able to return that back to the taxpayers and not have to use it or repurpose it for another capital project in the future. We will be able to get the roof done, and then possibly some other capital projects around the senior center as well. We also recently got a grant for cybersecurity to pay for a portion of our computer upgrades. And the computer upgrades started this Monday. So everybody's getting some new computers that have been, the computers that have been identified by our MSP provider as posing as cybersecurity, potential cybersecurity threats. We are replacing those computers as part of this project. So there'll be some computers and some laptops that will be going around to various departments, and they will be making their way. They started this week. We are anticipating them at least going till next week as well with the install. So you know, that should be done within the next couple weeks. I also wanted to let the board know that thanks to our partnership with CMRPC and Sarah, today I submitted for the town an expression of interest for a housing production plan. So we submitted that today for the housing production plan, and we hope to partner, we hope to be successful in getting it, and we hope to partner with CMRPC on that housing production plan. The town doesn't have a housing production plan, so this would be the first time that we would have something like that. And you know, one of the things that I would stress on this housing production plan, not only some component of affordability, but also market rate, okay? Because we can't just keep putting poverty on top of poverty. It doesn't work in communities, and we have to realize that. And so I'm a big believer in bringing some market rate and some stability in, along with some affordability for some of the seniors and stuff like that. But we can't put poverty on top of poverty. It doesn't work in communities. So I'm hopeful that we can, you know, get the grant, number one, and number two, that we have a successful housing production plan and moving forward, a first for the town of Warren. So I want to thank Sarah and John and all the members of CMRPC for their help and support, and we look forward to partnering with them on that housing production plan in the future.
Excellent. Any questions for our guest?
So if the total price of the roof is under 50,000, does the state give us the 50?
So that's a great question,
we return
Rich.
money?
That was a great question, Rich. And I met up with Representative Smoller just this afternoon.
Yeah.
And because I was ecstatic when we got the bids back. And he was very, very crafty in the way he worded it. So he worded it, you know, I asked for a new roof, but he worded it for improvements, capital improvements to the senior center. So we
There's the answer.
will spend every dime of
Yeah.
that state money,
Okay.
for sure.
Excellent.
Nice.
Use it or lose it.
And we gotta move, we're gonna move
ain't
very,
gonna lose it.
we're gonna move very
No, I know
quickly on, we're gonna move very quickly on spending that money, because that money's gotta be spent by June 30th. So,
Cool.
Cool.
all right, any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, is there a maintenance contract with the heating system?
A maintenance contract?
Yeah, or,
Warranty?
huh?
Warranty?
Well, a warranty on it, but also somebody to train people to take care of it, because those systems do need regular maintenance.
Yeah, so we do have BG Mechanical,
Yeah.
who maintains all of our heating
Good question.
and cooling, you know, units. So they would be the ones that would eventually, you know, take it over.
Any other questions? Okay, thank
Okay,
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next on our agenda, the master plan, transportation, and town service chapters comments. Sarah?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Sorry I'm not there in person. Do we have anybody from the public, or is it the normal crowd?
Yeah, no one. Public.
Cool. So I wanted to go over the rest of the plan timeline. After today, we'll have officially completed phase 1. So that's the first 4 chapters. So we are officially moving into phase 2, which will be open space and recreation, natural and cultural resources, land use, and implementation. So I had been updating you monthly on how phase 2 grant just has been delayed. We haven't heard from the state if that is still in the pipeline. Usually they are announced in November. Now is the type of year where we're usually thinking of next year's grants. So we're a little concerned that that's not going to come through. We're at the point where the project was going to stall. So I talked to Jim about alternatives that we had to finish the plan to keep it on timeline rather than trying to get another grant award, which would then push back the housing production plan. So our phase 2 proposal to the state included a match from the town and a match from what's called District Local Technical Assistance, which is a pool of money regional planning agencies get from the state, and local planning assistance, which is a different pool of money that CMRPC uses for small technical assistance projects to the towns. So our alternative plan was to increase both the town match and our ask to district local technical assistance to get us to a point where we could finish the plan. So thank you to Jim McKeon for coming to that meeting last week for district local technical assistance. We did get about $8,500 from them. So that will be huge. The town will be contributing the other half, and that should get us to our September timeline. So of course, this is less money than we wanted for phase 2. So there are some things that are taken out of the scope, and we could talk as a committee if there's things we want to negotiate. But at this point, we are taking out the redesign and advanced visuals of the plan. So the chapter drafts, as you see them now, will look very similar to when the plan is published, except I want more pictures in them, but that's a different thing. A slimmed down marketing for the public comment period and plan presentations. I'm hoping we could lean on the committee for that to get people at the table to read the draft plan and to come to the final presentation. We will not be doing a interactive web page with an executive summary and maps and data for the community. So now the only deliverable for the public will be the full plan. And we won't be able to pay for printed copies of the final plan. So we'll design the plan in a way that will allow you to print it, but we won't be able to cover that cost in this revised budget. So it's designed to be an 11 by 17 2-spread, so like a magazine size, basically. So the revised scope will be finishing the 3 chapters, finishing the what we call like non-chapter elements, which is introduction, conclusion, talking about how to implement the master plan, what is a master plan, what did we find with community engagement. We'll implement all the appropriate changes from this committee to the drafts. We'll facilitate a public comment period, which will be about a month. We'll implement those changes into the plan, present the final draft to the planning board, and present the final draft to the public. So that will take us up to about September. Any questions on that?
Sounds so good so far.
Nope,
Sorry?
no questions.
No questions, sounds great.
Cool. So our timeline will stay the same as we expected. So today we'll do transportation and town services. If there's any comments on that. Also happy to discuss last month's chapters. I saw Rich added some things to the comment matrix.
Yes, just a couple things.
No, I was so excited. And then April will be open space and natural cultural resources. May will be land use and those extra things I had mentioned, like the introduction, we'll have those for comments. And then June will be the implementation matrix, which I think will be most exciting to this committee. That's the ripping all the action items out of the plan and listing for every single one. Who's going to lead this? What's the priority of this project? How much would this project cost? What are the resources that could help get this done? So we'll go over those details because that will be very, Warren centric. And then July, our goal would be to approve the draft copy of the plan for public review. So we could have that review process during July/August. And then August, we would address comments from the public and decide how we'd like to implement them into the plan. Based on how many changes come in from the public comment period, we might need an extra month to implement those. If not, we could approve a potential plan in August or September. And then from there, we can schedule planning board meeting presentation and a public meeting.
Questions?
I have a question.
Please.
So how much is the budget underfunded by?
We took off about $20,000.
Something we could come up with, or maybe a portion of that?
Yeah, we probably could, maybe an article. town meeting.
Yeah.
Didn't it sound like there was the printing issue?
Yeah, there's some
Um,
things that,
there's-
why bother, right? We
So-
can print it.
Maybe that's something the town could pick up, helping with the
Yeah.
printing costs or
Well,
something?
I mean, essentially we'd have to, but I would say like maybe the marketing, maybe that interactive website, I don't, those might be worth
That's-
having, right?
I would think you're gonna have a lot more interest in a website than you would paper.
Yeah, Sarah, would it be possible to just come up with a list of what got cut?
Sure.
And I don't know if you could put a potential value on it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we could decide what we wanna try and fund and what we're happy to say, okay, well, you know, we don't need that.
Yeah.
How much printing do we have to do? I know a source maybe.
Well, I mean, it could
Yeah.
just be on, if we put a PDF up on the site, you know, when this
Oh,
is all
that's
done.
that's the best way to do it, but if you need to print stuff,
Yeah, virtual probably is
yeah.
But I mean, the only thing we pay for here is paper, because the ink is covered.
Yep,
The
no.
printer's covered,
Absolutely.
and the lease, right?
No, that's the best way.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, that's one, I mean, put that on the list, but that's one we could definitely say, you know, we'll do that. But yeah, I'd like to
Okay.
see what the others are worth and figure out something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
Well, do you want to go through the chapters, or what do we?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, we can
Go
go.
through them if that'd be helpful to the committee, or I'm happy to hear any comments or discussions on any of the chapters we have so far.
Did you get a chance to look at mine?
Yes.
Okay. I messed up the sheet too, by the way, and I fixed it like about half an hour ago. For some reason, when it opened, it didn't show the chapter column, so I'm like, well, this needs a chapter column, so I added that, but then I removed it, so it's back.
Yeah, your comments.
Seem doable. I think one thing you mentioned you wanted to discuss was the community center.
Yeah. So, I didn't think a good example of a deteriorating building was the mill, Wright's Mills, because those are in good shape. And it's kind of a point of pride, and I think actually it's a selling point too, that there's a full-time guy there who takes care of it. There is no vandalism, there's no graffiti, there are some broken windows, but that is not due to malicious intent, I don't think. But the West Warren Community Hall, that's in bad shape, I think, just from neglect. Now, somebody bought that for sure, right?
I believe that there was an offer made.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's finalized yet.
Okay, so there's a potential buyer. But if no one buys it, it is definitely a building that's in bad disrepair,
Right.
so.
So I think at the land use strategy meeting, we added it to the list of priority development parcels.
Parcels.
Okay.
I'm curious if there's anything the committee thinks the town could do to support development. I mean, other than we talk about zoning, but has there been discussion in any other boards about the town working with that specific parcel?
No, I haven't heard anything, no.
Okay.
The biggest problem with the building could be the parking. There is a yard in the back that could be converted to a parking lot, but I'm not sure ultimately how many spots there are. So to have like a big event there would be interesting.
Plus, it's gonna cost thousands and millions to fix that building up.
Yeah, the roof's bad,
Yes.
the windows are broken,
Terrible.
it's probably gotta be modernized in many respects and repaired inside, you know,
Plus,
there's.
you got asbestos, I'm sure you have to deal with
You
it.
got asbestos and lead in there, and it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
a big issue.
yeah.
yeah.
And you've got all that bowling alley equipment that's in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be cool to keep.
It would be, yeah. It's-
probably all outdated. Everything is,
Yeah.
So you wanna go through the sections like we discussed, or you want to more further discussion? Sarah, do you want to go through some sections like we talked of each one, or do you want to wait till Jeremy comes back, or? I think,
I don't know, it doesn't matter to me, I guess.
yeah, I think we should wait for Jeremy to come back to go over in more detail too, so, because we're all here. I just hate to miss out on anything on that. If that's okay with the board. That's okay with Sarah.
Yeah.
We'll wait till, he'll be back next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions for Sarah? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to also mention to the board, if the board is thinking about, potentially, having the town fund, a portion of what has been, prematurely cut on this project, we will need that article drafted by, within a week, because we will have to bring it to the FinCom for review, and then the joint meeting between the selectmen and the FinCom is going to be happening on April 12th. So we don't have too much time to potentially, review an article, as articles were due a few weeks ago. So, but I'm not saying it's not possible, but if we could get that, potentially that budget and what type of money we're talking about, we could get that drafted in an article relatively quick.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Sarah?
Not right now.
Okay.
I promised to read more. I was gonna do a chapter every weekend and, that didn't happen. But this weekend, I'm gonna do a
Good.
chapter. I'll
Excellent.
pick one and I'll do it.
Sarah, thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
If I could just add one note,
Absolutely.
as I have to say every time I give you chapters to review, if there's anyone else that should be reading the chapters at this level, that's super helpful to have input from stakeholders now than further on in the game. We hate to catch anybody off guard with what's in the master plan, especially the planning board, the select board. Happy that Jim is in these meetings, so the town administrator's office can also be on board. But that's something that the committee can help us with to make sure that everybody's on the same page when the review process comes.
Jim gave me. What about sending to our two state reps?
Sure.
Because they're gonna see what we're doing, and maybe they can,
Yeah, why not?
why not, yeah, our two state reps, I think would be a great idea.
One more possible I know in this chapter with the services and facilities, you talk about water and sewer a little bit. Is it worth maybe getting those two entities involved in it too a little bit?
Yeah, why not?
And Jim, do you think we should send it to, Sarah, send it to you to send to the reps, because,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great to have both reps involved, especially after hearing what our state rep did for us. Okay,
Would you be looking for feedback from them?
Or would you want to send them a more finalized plan?
Any thoughts?
maybe something will stimulate them to say, hey, I know a committee that might be able to help us, you don't know.
Yeah.
Or if they have comments,
Yeah, comments,
they
anything.
have like a particular area
Yeah.
they're a little more strong in.
Yep.
than Others, right?
That's a great, good, outstanding.
Great.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you. All right, move on to our next thing, other grant program updates.
That's John probably.
I know
John?
Jeremy's usually our go-to for all things grant-related, but I know, Jim, would you mind updating maybe on the community one-stop?
Sure.
Some of those?
Sure, yeah.
Probably know better than I do.
Yep. We're pretty much in the closeout phase of one of the School Street, Otis Street project. I think A. Martins and Sons is coming back, this spring, anytime now, to do some touch-up work that is on the punch list for the project. So that should be wrapping up. We're moving right along with our Wrights Mills Master Recovery Plan for EDA. We are anticipating having that plan released. At least the first draft is out there on the web right now. Was released today. And so the finalized portion of it, it should be out by late May, early June, we're anticipating. The community planning grant, which is also through the One Stop, we're moving right along with that. What do we have else on the?
Pulaski Street?
Pulaski Street, yep, Pulaski Street just recently was awarded to Weston and Sampson. Pulaski Street will have a contract in front of the Board of Selectmen within the next few weeks. And we decided to move forward with Weston and Sampson just because of their institutional knowledge that they've done around that corridor. You know, it made sense. You know, we don't have to go out to bid for engineering services. You know, it made sense to continue the relationship with Weston and Sampson because of the knowledge that they've done for the master planning around that area. And Pulaski Street is all connected to them. So we decided to continue our relationship. It's in the best interest of the town to continue our relationship with Weston and Sampson for that project. They were awarded that, and a contract will be before the selectmen soon. We have, River Street, that's the other one, that's CDBG stuff. Yeah, CDBG. So was there any other? No, I think that's it for the One Stop. And then, like I said, we submitted our expressions of interest today for the housing production, which would also be part of the next year's One Stop. And if there's another, avenue of grants, we don't have to submit an expression of interest, although it's encouraged. We don't have to. We could submit a grant for one-stop funding. I think they're going to open up the beginning of May, so we could still submit. We'll submit for the housing production plan, but if there's another grant opportunity under the one-stop umbrella, I can certainly submit if the board has some type of initiative that they want to see move forward with.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Should I stand up here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the only other thing that I have to add to is the MVP 2.0 grant application. So Jeremy, myself, Shannon Sullivan, colleague, and the Weston and Sampson team are working to develop an application for that particular program. So that's due on the 4th of April. So we are taking a lesser role in that. I know Jeremy's working directly with the Weston and Sampson team, but that's going to apply for funding for a culvert replacement project right in the downtown there, or some form of that. It's still being worked out exactly how that's going to be applied for.
The
But-
culvert replacement downtown?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, portion of that. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I
That's
think
a big-
I think the
I
entire
know.
thing needs to be replaced, but I think we're taking it.
I believe it's just the starting point from the woods,
Okay.
the edge of
Yeah.
the brook.
To like the railroad track maybe or something?
Yes, on that side of,
Wow.
would be
And-
the south side of.
Sounds like a.
And based on some initial feedback from the Weston and Sampson team, they have that scope will likely change. So it might be more of a planning or engineering design study around that, not physical construction. But the ultimate goal is to lead for the town to have plans to ultimately apply for some kind of program to actually fund construction of the culvert replacement. So it might not be for this particular application, but working towards that.
So you're designing the.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's the only other data I have outside of CDBG.
You want to go right into, any questions before we go into CDBG? Any questions? Nope, okay.
Okay.
CDBG.
Great, thank you. So starting with FY '21, that program originally funded the School Street Phase 1. We were able to reprogram about $13,000 into senior center improvements. So looking at the doorway as well as some flooring, replacement around the loading dock area. Myself, Jim, and Sharon have a pre-construction meeting with the contractor next Friday, April 4th. So once that is completed, we'll then move forward to notice to proceed. I have had conversation with the contractor. He believes that project can be wrapped up within 2 weeks. So if that all goes to plan, the program, the FY21 program, should be closed out at the end of June, 100%. So
Good.
yeah.
Great.
We had spent most, if not all, of the funds on that, so that's good. Moving on to the FY 22-23 program. So that included School Street Phase 2. 99% of the project's complete. The contractor is going to return, like Jim mentioned, for the Otis Street portion, but also for the School Street portion, just a few punch list items, loam and seed. I know one homeowner had requested that we put some plants back in, so this kind of minor stuff. But again, that should all be wrapped up, completed by the end of June, 100%. Moving on to the Town Common Improvement Project, we had a meeting last night where two conceptual designs were presented in front of the Parks Commission as well as the committee. I think that was pretty well received. I know in briefly speaking with the team this morning, they were grateful for the feedback that was provided. I have asked, because there was a few committee members missing, I have asked them to meet with us again. I just really want to make sure everyone's at the table on this before they move forward with any more design work. So it'd probably be virtually. So we're trying to schedule a date, but I think having another opportunity for feedback based on those two conceptual designs would really go a long way. Also, I'm trying to work with them on getting some type of survey. We didn't have a lot of room in the budget for this, but if we can somehow get it on the town's either website or Facebook page, maybe just simply asking, residents what they prefer, option A or B, or, some kind of design elements. So trying to work that as well. So that's where we are, again, before they move forward to finalizing, a design that they're going to allow the town to move forward with hopeful construction funds on. So,
So Derek can help with the survey.
oh, great, okay.
He's good at that stuff.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, so I'm trying to nail down a date that works well with Weston and Smith's team, and then send it out to the committee to make sure that that works as well. But again, like I said, being that it'll be virtual, I hope it's better attended. It's easier for everyone, so we can elicit feedback. And I'm also just waiting for the minutes to be finalized before I actually can send the PDF out to the committee. That includes those two. I know it was posted on the cable access TV, but this will at least give even more detail. An easier to read version of that.
Yeah.
So that should be coming shortly. I will also extend that to the advisory committee as well. Those documents, that'd be helpful, and the attendance to next meeting. I don't know if there's any
Yeah,
questions.
one thing with kind of advertising it out, getting people's inputs, maybe we could figure out some kind of like comments box down at the common itself. People walking around, maybe can
Oh, I see what
drop
you're
a
saying.
comment in,
It
or,
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or take maybe a little trifold foot, a couple of them. People would start getting the idea.
yeah.
I don't know if that's
Maybe
something.
put it near the post office, and near the old post
One,
office.
one maybe in front of town hall, one actually over on the gazebo, on the common, people are sitting there now,
Yeah.
walking their dogs around.
So, I mean, I'm
The
open
people
to-
that are using it
Right.
may have some input.
So-
That's a way to,
So you're kind of talking about maybe like a Dropbox feature, something
Yeah.
like that? Okay, and we could have
yeah,
a suggestion
maybe
box?
one
Yeah.
over at the common, one over by the library.
Okay.
One over
Yeah,
at town hall.
I've asked the Weston Simpson team to see what they would typically do for
Yeah,
outreach
something-
for these types of projects, but I think that's a great idea, and I think that's something we could probably put together relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And
Well, the other option is the town meeting's coming up to have
That-
suggestion, that you're gonna get
Yeah.
the most,
When's-
that's the best place, because what Jim's suggestion is
The
great,
town
but
meeting.
that's a high volume.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Dancing from basically move it from now, people's gonna start using the parks for baseball.
Yeah, right.
Put something down there.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
You're gonna get everybody, the people that are very, usually get 200 people
Yeah.
maybe, if we're lucky.
Oh, wow, yeah, if we could set up a box in front of that.
Right, and just,
June 12th.
June 12th, okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So start it, like if you could start it mid-April through June.
yeah,
Some
so-
kind of,
as of now,
movement.
the contract end date for that project is June 30th. So that might be a little tight to be able, the team to finalize the plan if we left it to that June
Okay,
12th date.
yeah.
But I think leading up to that meeting,
even if it,
we could have it at
Mid-May
the
or
town
something.
hall,
we got
Town
the
common.
elections, the May elections,
Yeah.
so.
that maybe would be more of a trigger.
So
I-
elections
point.
would be, I think, the 13th probably. I think it's the second Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
In May?
I think, yeah.
Okay, May 13th?
Well, it's either this, it's, yeah, it's the 6th or the 13th.
Okay,
Might be the 6th.
so
Yeah,
this is,
even the election date would be another opportunity to put some boxes around.
Yeah,
here.
that's,
Right.
yeah.
That's what we were saying.
Okay.
The May,
yeah.
May election.
Okay.
That's probably our only chance to get the
Daydreaming,
May,
trying to
May
think of
election.
the ideas that
Yeah,
we're
no,
talking
that's a-
about.
Because
Yeah,
June
no,
might
that's
be
a
little
very
too
high
late.
volume days
those are great
and
ideas.
exposure.
So I have
Jim, good idea.
Yeah, those are. So I've got that noted, and I think that we'll make sure to make mention of that in our next meeting with Weston and Sampson, and
Yeah,
see if we can pull
something
something together. Because I mean, even if it's something simple like a quick 10-question questionnaire type thing, or kind of
Can
even
build
just a general
can
comment
build
box.
a little
is-
box, put it on by
Yeah.
a picnic table,
Yeah, right,
something, some type of.
right. Yeah, so I think we can definitely do that. So I hope to have that scheduled in the next week or two. That regrouping. So going from there, I have a better idea. Yeah. So moving on,
Yep.
if there's no other comments. So we reprogrammed remaining School Street funds into the Hillside Ave design project. I'm happy to report that design is complete, which is great, because then it allows us to move forward with the application for FY25 for construction of Hillside Ave. So that went very quickly and smoothly, so I'm grateful for the engineer to have that completed. So, yeah, we're in good shape there, and I guess moving on to FY24. So there's the River and Central Street Improvement Project. So I just received the contract agreement signed by the consultant today, which I gave to Jim, and Jim's gonna put it in front of the Board of Selectmen to have them, accept, which is the engineering services. So that include the design as well as construction admin of the Central and River Street Improvement Project. So the firm there that was decided on as most highly advantageous was Waterfield Design Group out of Winchester, Mass. So I don't think we've worked, I've never personally, but I don't believe the town's ever worked with them
Doesn't sound
either.
familiar.
Okay, yeah, so it's, I think, a good opportunity to work with a new engineering firm,
Yeah.
get a different, perspective on some of these infrastructure projects that we do routinely. So, yeah, if the Board of Selectmen agree and accept that, we'll be under contract. I believe April 10th is the next Board of Selectmen meeting, and we'll get work started right away on that.
Okay.
So that'll be good. And then the Cutter Park Improvement Project, so that is designed similar to, entirely different site, but the scope is the same for the town common, so that's gonna be looking at making improvements to Cutter Park. Working with Chris Dunphy on that, so we're putting together, developing the RFQ for that. That should go out within the next couple weeks. So that'll be good. Most of that work will probably be done, late summer, early fall into the winter, so we're on time for that. And then lastly, the FY25 application. Last week I had the public hearing in front of the Board of Selectmen, and fortunately, all those projects were accepted. That included the Hillside Avenue improvement project, so construction phase. That included a Washington Street neighborhood infrastructure planning study. That also included Summer Street design engineering phase, as well as Millbury included a senior center and parking lot improvement design project. I know we're pretty familiar, but I can go through exactly each of those projects if you want, but the board voted to accept that, so we're moving forward with that. I'm working on the narrative on that now, letters of support, but we should be in good shape for submission before the 14th, which is the due date of the application.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's.
Any questions for John?
No?
No, he's very thorough.
Yeah. Things are going well.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
great efforts.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Any new business?
No, I don't have anything.
I'm good.
I didn't think, anyways, our next meeting.
We usually do what, the 4th?
Yeah.
So April, I have the 23rd.
Just check mine, such a busy guy. Not really. April 23rd. That's a Tuesday, right? No,
Wednesday.
oh, it's 2024. What is going
Right,
on? How did I get into 2024? You're a mess, Steve. I'm always free, I have nothing better to do, so this is great. All right, so what day is this now? April
23rd,
23rd.
Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Okay. We have to vote on that, or are we fine with that?
No, yeah, there's no vote.
Okay. Is there any other information, anything else, want to bring anything else up? So, with that being said, I'd like to have a motion to close out the meeting, or is that how we do that?
So moved.
So moved. Okay.
You need a second.
Second?
No, you gotta say your name.
Oh.
No, you don't have to say for a
Yeah.
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
on the final vote.
Okay.
So, like, all in favor.
All in favor?
All in favor? Start there.
Dan Thibodeau, aye.
James McCann, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Steve Bristol, aye. Okay.
You're adjourned.
We're done. Thank you very much, everybody.